Every day, a large portion of the population is at mercy of an rising technology, yet few understand what it is. Artificial intelligence, thanks to books and movies, each generation has formed its own fantasy of a world ruled or at least served by robots. We have been conditioned to expect flying cars that steer clean of traffic and robotic maid whipping up our weekend dinner.
But if the age of AI is here, then why don't our lives look more like the Jetsons? Well, for starters, that's a cartoon, and if you've ever browsed Netflix movie suggestions or told Alexa, hey, play me a song, you have probably interacted with AI more than you realize, and that's kind of the point. AI is designed so you don't realize there's a computer calling the shots, but that also makes an understanding of what AI is and what it's not. In basic terms, AI is a broad area of computer science that makes machines seem like they have human intelligence and are capable of rational decision making. So, it's not only programming a computer to compete in action, but when that program learns how to exhibit a human like behavior and makes decisions based on an informed analysis.
So, how did this whole artificial intelligence thing start? Please meet the man who first introduced the term AI to the world of science back in 1956, US computer scientist John McCarthy. While teaching at the MIT in Boston, the 29-year-old professor defined AI as the science and technology of aiming to create smart machines. A few years later, in 1960, the government of the United States heavily funded a project which one might call the first interaction of AI with international relations, a spoken language translating machine. For the rest of the century, scientists, logicians, and mathematicians tried to live up to the high expectations of developing smart machines as quick as possible. The knowledge was not the problem, it was all there. Computers just did not have enough memory to store all the algorithms. It was like using Internet Explorer and waiting for Google Chrome to be invented. Promising success started in 1997 when the IBM chess computer beat the best human chess player at the time. The new millennium would hold a bright future for AI, especially concerning international relations. But more on that later. Let's quickly take a look at three theories of international relations: liberalism, realism, and social constructivism, and how they can be connected to it. Start with liberalism. Liberals think that the goal of economics should be the most efficient use of world's scarce resources and maximization of world welfare. Funny, that is exactly what smart machines are aiming to help us humans with, right? Okay, let's move on to realism. If you've been following the news lately, you might have realized that there are one or two things at the moment which the USA and China do not agree on. There's also an arms race going on between the two on who's going to take the #1 spot regarding AI, with China being a little bit closer to the throne right now. Is this the trendiest form of the realist fight for survival? Thirdly, there's social constructivism. It can pretty well be defined in a few words, which are changing the world by changing ideas. As smart machines will be or already are able to create ideas and concepts which exceed the ability of the human brain, it is almost certain that robots will change the world we live in. But we do not have to look far into the future because AI is already busy changing our lives.
Artificial intelligence can cause difficult issues with law. A well-known example is the one about self-driving cars. Who is responsible for an accident? The driver or the company that designed the autonomous driving technology? Or even harder, which moral decision should the self-driving car take in unexpected situations? If a ghost rider suddenly appears on your side of the road, is it allowed for the car to hit a cyclist by entering the verge and prevent a frontal collision? Is the safety of one person above that of another? More related to international relations, the influence of artificial intelligence on international humanitarian law. Examples such as autonomous unmanned military drones, lethal autonomous weapon system, autonomous defensive systems like Israel's Iron Dome, and killer robots have highlighted the need for immediately regulating the production, distribution, and use of weapons based on artificial intelligence. The main concerns here emerge from the autonomous nature of these weapons, the decision to kill without human intervention. All of this makes the code of ethics important in the artificial intelligence field. Recently, leaders at the United Nations agreed to officially discuss guidelines about autonomous weapons. This is important to solve the future problems around this issue.
Over the past decade, something extraordinary happened. Techniques that previously hadn't worked very well started to show impressive advances because processors became more powerful and there was vastly more data to train the algorithm. Hence, the idea of big data. Huge companies like Google and Facebook have been taking advantage of artificial intelligence for their business. And now, these companies have a lot of power and are important actors in international relations, giving them more power in international relations than even some countries. Other companies using artificial intelligence are Netflix, Amazon, Apple, and social media companies. Yet, advances in artificial intelligence are also compelling economists and others to consider its impact in three main areas: productivity and output, employment, and international trade and development.
It is also important to note that during the first industrial revolutions, countries had competed to control resources like oil and coal. In the present situation, the resources are artificial intelligence professionals, cloud computing, artificial intelligence chips, and others. For all human history, politics has been fundamentally driven by the conscious human actions and the collective actions and interactions of humans within networks and organizations. Now, advances in artificial intelligence hold out the prospect of a fundamental change in this arrangement. The idea of non-human entity having a specific agency could create radical changes in our understanding of politics at the widest level. While the probability of a robotic, in the literal sense, president or foreign minister seems very distant, this does not mean that artificial intelligence will not affect international politics. In significant ways, its impacts are very likely to be more diffuse and subtle. They are likely to be manifested through changes in the ways in which human decision makers are informed, while not extending so far as to allow artificial intelligence to take decisions. Consideration of the application of AI in international affairs appropriately includes that the structures that support decision makers look like, in the speed with which critically significant decisions are made. This evolution presents both huge opportunities and substantial risks, so considering the potential impacts at an early stage is critical. One such example in the arena of international affairs will be the possibility of modeling complex negotiations, along with using AI systems to monitor compliance and improve the efficiency of complex international instruments. Parties to negotiations might use sophisticated machine learning methods to forecast others' positions and tactics. Also, the rise of the use of drones in both military and commercial settings have been accompanied by a heated debate as to whether there should be an outright ban on what some label killer robots. Such robots, which could be in the air, on the ground, or in an underwater thoroughly incorporated AI that could make them capable of executing missions on their own. The debate, which has many dimensions and stakeholders, concerns whether artificial intelligence machines should be allowed to execute such military missions, specifically if there is a possibility that any human life could be at stake.